Joining us now is award-winning photographer Caitlin Cronenberg and art director Jessica Ennis, who have a new book coming out called The Endings. And it features some of today's most celebrated actresses, capturing them in the throes of emotional transformation. Welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
Now, the book captures celebs like Julianne Moore, Imogen Poots, and Keira Knightley, to name a few, and you've created stories of heartbreak, relationship endings, and new beginnings, fictional, but often inspired by real life. So tell us about that.
Well, we found that just in our own conversations with each other, as well as conversations with other friends who are women especially, it just seems like a natural topic to get on discussing is relationships and relationship endings, especially because everybody knows somebody who's had a crazy breakup story, or you've had your own breakup story, or you've heard through a friend. And so we found that was really something that bonded us together, and that also bonded us together with other women. Those especially the bad stories, of course.
So is it just relationships in terms of romantic relationships? Because I've also talked to friends about the breakdown of friendships. And
I don't know if we ever, there were so many stories in the sort of breakup relationship realm that I don't know if we ever touched on friendships necessarily.
Yes. Not for this project.
Yeah, not for this project. But some of the stories, like the Belle Powley, as an example, was the loss of a childhood boyfriend or friend, and she sort of comes back to this place each year and mourns.
It's almost about pre-romance because they were friends, but they would have thought it was love at that time, as a child.
Yeah. So let me get this. Let me make sure I've got this straight. So you collaborate with each actress, or are we meant to say can you still say actor, actress, whatever? So you collaborated with them to develop a character. You build the world that she inhabits, and then you photograph her as she lives the role before the camera.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So. And you did one with Patricia Clarkson. Can you tell us about that? Because I'm watching her in Sharp Objects and I am obsessed.
Well, Patricia Clarkson is someone who we've always admired as an actor. She is, ridiculously talented, and her range is outrageous. She's funny, she's serious, she's everything. So she was one that we really hoped to get. And her story was one that we had wanted to do for a long time, which was the meeting of an older woman with a quite younger man, and having a tryst and feeling like we weren't sure if they were happy about it or if it was inappropriate or what sort of the idea of that relationship was. So we shot in this incredible library, a private library in New York, and just created this, very romantic, airy, completely empty, gigantic room for her. And that was a fun place for her to explore because she could, walk up and down the different aisles with all of these old books. And it was really beautiful. And I think it inspired the airiness of that story.
One of the things that's interesting about that story, too, is typically we don't show the other person. We often focus on the female subject and not the person that the relationship is ending with. So there's sort of this backstory to it that, she was either married or had a long-term relationship that had ended. And you actually see the younger man, but the younger man is not the...
It's not the relationship.
The relationship that
ended.
It's not the ending.
Is that because you wanted to leave it to people's imaginations?
Yes.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems that people do sometimes have rituals when something is over, that some sort of cathartic thing that they do. Or
I used to get my hair cut every time.
Yeah, they say that.
Every time I had
cutting your hair short?
Yeah. Not even short, just differently. Like in an extreme way.
A new haircut.
A new something.
What are some of the other things that you discovered?
Actually, funnily enough, 2 or possibly 3 of the women that we photographed broke up with their long-term
actual
boyfriends in real life after our shoot, like not long
good
after our
work,
shoot.
ladies.
Yeah. Happily, at least one is with the person that she's now marrying. So it
was a
better.
trigger that they grabbed onto and they thought this is what.
Yeah, I think the actual act of the shoot was cathartic for some of them. They really inhabited their characters going through this breakup, and they were able to work through a few things.
How did you connect with all these amazing actors?
Well, I had been working in film, so we started off with people who we knew or who I had worked with, and then we just sort of went from there.
It was pretty experimental in the beginning, so it was...
We needed people to trust us.
We needed people to trust us, and some of the initial, like Sarah Gadden was someone who Kate had worked with, and we shot that up by my parents' house in Thornhill in a forest, and it was like we were going through like my old breakup memorabilia that she had burned, and it was very much like just a bunch of friends hanging out.
It was really a fun shoot,
Yeah.
and then from there we started reaching out to agents and publicists, and we have sent over 5,000 emails probably over the course of the last 7 years, just trying to get people to understand what the project is. And the people at the beginning really had to trust us because we didn't have much to show in terms of examples of previous shoots.
Right.
And then as we collected more and more people, the publicists really responded to those images that we could show them. So the early stages, a lot of trust. Later on, we could say, hey, we've shot these other 13 great
exactly.
people. And then it was easier to get people on board.
So why did you want to capture the whole phenomenon of moving on?
I mean, I think that, like Kate said earlier, it's something that bonds women. And we just, I don't know if we necessarily intended to keep going with it, but people would work on the shoots and we would find that there were just more and more stories. And we would, even our subjects were like, well, this thing happened to me. Or even one of the last shoot in the book is actually an idea that Mary Herron, who wrote our foreword, had told us about, which was about a woman sort of, cutting up her husband's clothing into
everything he owned.
Yeah, everything he owned into tiny little pieces. And we're like, wow, that would be beautiful. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the ideas kept coming
to us.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend that cut every single tie and the left in half and the left arm off every
See,
every
exactly.
jacket.
And this is more stories
because
that
she
you're
said
hearing.
It was like you've ripped off a part of my body.
Yeah.
And then that was it. But what do you hope people take away from the images in the book?
Well, we want people to have a connection to the images, whether it's a positive or a negative reaction to what we're doing. We want people to see the images and feel an emotion. So I think some of them have a more positive outcome, like Jennifer Jason Leigh's and Danielle Brooks. Those are about moving on, and the moving on process is a positive thing. So the ending was a good thing, and it's more obvious in some of them than in others. But I think what we're just hoping for a real reaction and some sort of an emotional connection one way or another.
Well, speaking of connection, how did you two get together? I mean,
well, we've been married for 10 years.
Yeah, we've been married for 10 years.
To do this project.
We connected through Facebook initially, like over 10 years ago.
Through mutual friends.
Yeah, just through mutual friends. And we met to, just talk about doing a photo shoot at my grandparents' house.
Which we did.
Which we did. They have this amazing time capsule of a place. And then we'd actually just worked on a bunch of things together over the course of 10 years, and we're really close friends. And
well, Caitlin, your works appeared in publications across the world: New York Times, W Magazine, Vogue Italia, and Jessica, as well as an art director, you're a set designer and a stop motion animator, and you've done work for MTV, Microsoft, HBO. So, I mean, together you both have. I mean, you're creating beautiful sets, and you're creating the images, or taking the pictures.
Yeah, our professional relationship just felt natural. It felt like the natural next step to our friendship. So we started working on all of our shoots together, and then as these ideas kept coming, we thought, okay, let's go for it. And it did take us 7 years to finish this project, but
that's it. And The Endings is available now for pre-order.
It is available for pre-order. It comes out on September 4th, so it'll be in stores September 4th. You can pre-order it now. Our website is thisistheendings.com, and there's a pre-order link. Canada, US, UK, Amazon.
I can hear "This Is the End" I'm playing in the background of this, but it's thisistheendings.com. So yeah,
any other projects that you two are gonna? Because obviously this has been a great collaboration.
I don't think we've had a chance to even think about the future from this point. We both have kids, and it'll be nice to see them.
Yeah, you have
that
a point.
Relationship ends.
Yeah, exactly.
Before that ends. So we're like 7 years. I mean, it must be. Are you breathing a sigh of relief? Is it like giving birth?
100%.
We're talking about the 7-year gestation period of this book, and it actually feels like you see it on the
more
table
than
now.
elephants.
More than an elephant.
Yeah, it's only 2 years for elephants.
Well, we're delighted. So again, it's thisistheendings.com. Caitlin Cronenberg and Jessica Ennis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
She said she's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.